Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peter Gogi, your best weatherman from Kenya. And I'm here once more again to give a definition of what is Pacific Decadal Oscillation or PDO and differentiate it from the El Nino Southern Oscillation. But before I come to that, we are in the month of August, whereby during this month of August, we are currently experiencing or we are continuing to experience a moderate drought instead of chilly cold weather conditions. Just the reason why I'm just wearing a vest because I cannot able now to wear a very heavy jacket because the weather condition in G.A.B West and the whole of Kenya and the most part of the Eastern Africa. This is not how the weather condition. The weather condition is very hot and dry currently in the month of August. Now, let now have a discussion or let's define what is the Pacific Decadal Oscillation. The Pacific Decadal Oscillation is a long-term climate pattern that usually observed in North Pacific Ocean, whereby this PDO, it is a decadal climate pattern whereby when it comes to decade means a period of 10 years. So because this PDO, it is a decadal oscillation, this pattern usually take several decades. It can take even around 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years for that climate pattern to oscillate from cool phase or warm phase. Like for instance, this PDO is in negative phase and it is currently almost 30 years in cool phase in the North Pacific Ocean, whereby this Pacific Ocean, this PDO in the Pacific Ocean, when this cool phase, when it is in cool phase means it is when the cool sea surface temperatures of the North Pacific Ocean are located along the west of North American coastline, and on the other hand, the warm sea surface temperatures of North Pacific Ocean are located along the Asian continent. That is when the PDO is in negative phase. Now, when the PDO is positive phase, it is now the vice versa, whereby the warm sea surface temperatures of this PDO are now located in along the coastline of North American coastline, whereas on the other side, the cool sea surface temperatures are located along the eastern coastline of the Asian continent. So that is that is what is defined by the Pacific Decadal Oscillation. And what is the difference between the PDO and El Nino Southern Oscillation or ENSO? Now, the difference comes in here. The PDO is usually observed in Northern Pacific Ocean, but the El Nino Southern Oscillation is usually observed in equatorial, central, and eastern Pacific Ocean, and whereby the El Nino Southern Oscillation is a climate pattern that usually observed in equatorial Pacific Ocean, whereby this pattern is the one which usually gives birth to La Nina, El Nino, or neutral phase of the entire ENSO conditions. Like for instance, right now, the status of this El Nino Southern Oscillation is in El Nino state because we have been forecasting the development of Super El Nino. The Super El Nino, which the current condition which is in Central Pacific Ocean or in El Nino Southern Oscillation mode. Now, there is an update that I have given out yesterday, whereby the current developing Super El Nino has already exceeded the 1997 El Nino, whereby the 1997 El Nino developed under the circumstances of under the background of under the condition of positive PDO. The reason why the 1997 El Nino was so much extreme and it usually and it remained one of the memorable extreme El Nino event because it developed about the background of the positive PDO. But the 2026 El Nino, Super El Nino, which has already exceeded the 1997, has developed under the background of negative PDO, whereby this negative PDO, despite of having that negative PDO, we have experienced, or we are experiencing, a very extreme El Nino phase in equatorial Pacific Ocean, whereby due to that, this El Nino, this is expected to once to increase the global temperatures, and it is still expected to trigger extreme weather conditions globally. As per currently, there is some continents like Europe where there is a very extreme wildfires. Here in Kenya and Eastern Africa, we are currently experiencing a warm winter, and we are still expecting a period of extreme weather conditions from coming October, November short rain season, and towards the 2027 long rain season, only just because of the impact of super El Nino in tropical Pacific Ocean. But on top of that, I have been saying that we are currently, there are some other factors which are impaired. We are currently observing them, like the development of a positive Indian Ocean dipole and the development of Atlantic Nina in Atlantic Ocean. But in general, that is a good definition that I hope now you understand. What's the difference between the Pacific Decadal Oscillation, whereby the PDO is a long-term climate pattern usually observed in North Pacific Ocean, but the El Nino Southern Oscillation, or ENSO, the climate pattern that usually give birth to La Nina or El Nino, usually being observed in Central and Eastern tropical Pacific Ocean. I hope now you understand and differentiate the difference between the Pacific Decadal Oscillation and the El Nino Southern Oscillation. Now, I hope you have understood, and I still hope you continue to follow up my weather forecasting and predictions, and more updates are still I'm still continue to give out more updates. So continue following and share this contact, and leave your comment in comment section. So have a good day.